Hey guys, how's it going? Today we have the opportunity to help our friends start landscaping around their absolutely gorgeous home that they just completed. I think it's been 2 years now. If you look this way, you can see that they have a garage or two. But my favorite part about this home are the peaks. I think those are absolutely beautiful. I love a really interesting roof line. And this is such a fun design to help with because it's very different from our home. And we get to work off of actually somebody else's plan a little bit. So you can see that they have done a lot of prep work. I kind of want to walk you guys around here. They've got the concrete edging put in, all the flower beds have been defined, stones have been placed, some of the trees have already been planted. So like right here, there's an eastern redbud. There's one on the other side as well. So you can see the stones here. And I think they go really well with the style of the house. And then there are also some maple trees, some great big ones that are kind of scattered throughout the property. We are going to be here in several different phases. Today we're going to be adding some foundation shrubs, not all of them, just a few. We've got I think maybe 30 or 25 or 30 we're going to put in the ground today. And eventually we are going to end up planting the entire berm around this property. So I am just really thrilled about it. You can see we started placing a few things up here already, just because the last time I was here they didn't have the berm in here, which is really interesting. We don't have any berms at our house. In fact, Aaron and I, as we were placing things, we were like, maybe we should try to add some into the south garden. Just some little ones, just for a little bit of interest, because that's so fun and so beautiful to see the different elevation of these plants. We are also going to be planting a few around this side here. I guess I should mention this house, the front of it faces northeast. So it's really interesting. This side does get morning sun. But this right here, starting here, will get blasted in the afternoon. So this whole side of the house is going to be a really hot side. And then around the back here, you can see there are also some junipers in here, but we are going to come in along this whole fence line. And up in that area back there, I think eventually there's going to be maybe a gazebo or something out in that corner. But you can see all of these beautiful flower bed areas that are just a complete blank slate. We're actually not going to be planting anything back here today, but on the other side of the back patio, we do have a few things we are going to be planting, so let's head that way. Okay, so you can see the back porch here. Isn't that beautiful? Just the great big beams, and I love the rich color. Oh, so fun. And then this right here is where we are going to be planting a few things. So you can see we've got some fine line improved buckthorns right here. So there is a dog kennel here, which is temporary. This is actually going to be the patio where a hot tub will eventually sit. So this will move somewhere else, but we are going to start the plantings in this area because this faces southwest, get a lot of wind this way. So we're going to put a hedge of fine lines here. We have to keep this open for the gate, and we will come back in with something smaller here as well. And then we're going to continue on the hedge down this way. We do intend on taking fine lines all the way down to the AC unit that just turned on and scared me when it did. And this is a spot that we are tweaking a little bit, and that's why I don't have enough fine lines to fill it. In the original plan, which was created by Far West Design and Landscape in Boise, it's so fun working off somebody's plan. And you know, you need to make little tweaks here and there when you actually start placing plants. We decided to go with a thinner buckthorn, so the fine lines only get 2 feet wide, so that it would enable us to put something in that maybe had a little bit more color. So we might come in, because this is the south side, and do like Caryopteris or something really tough that can take the full sun but will provide a ton of color in this space. So that's kind of the plan here. And then in this corner, we've got some pink chiffon Rosa Sharon, which these get quite large. I think like 10 to 12 feet tall and 4 to 6 feet wide. So there's a trio here that we just want to let fill in this area. And I think they'll really do great in this spot because they'll get a lot of heat off the building and they can handle it. And they'll provide some color through most of the summer and into fall. It'll be really nice, I think. So we're back up front. I think what I want to do is get everything in the ground, get it all planted, and then we can do a walkthrough, and I just want to talk about each one of the plants, and I want to show you the whole plan that we're working off of and kind of what the end goal is. everything in the ground, and it's so fun. I'm so excited to see how this unfolds throughout the season, because just this little bit of activity, you start seeing kind of what is going to happen. And when you're working off a master plan, which I'll show you in a minute, it's a little bit freeing, because usually my method is to start with bone structure, bigger architectural pieces first. So shade trees and evergreens, the winter interest, and then you start working your way down. So larger shrubs, smaller shrubs, and then perennials, annuals, bulbs. But today we kind of did a little bit, not of everything, but a little bit of everything in a way. Because when you have your master plan, you can just pick up things as you find them at garden centers. And it doesn't matter if you put a perennial in the ground first and then plant an evergreen later. So next time when we come, I'm kind of hoping to have a few winter interest pieces, but these two serve as that as well. Flanking this entryway, which this is an amazing entryway, you guys. I mean, just take a look at the beams, the architecture of the whole front of the home here. It's something that you don't want to shroud. So we're being very careful not to put any, I see a lot of like big, beautiful specimen evergreens used in front of homes, but then it kind of hides the home and you can't see the beauty of the home for what it is. So I think that these maples are going to be perfect. These are a type of Acer palmatum. I'm going to spell it for you because I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's Bihou. It's a yellow coral bark maple. So you might be familiar with this like, straight up coral bark maple, which they're absolutely gorgeous. These are a little bit harder to find. And when I saw these the other day, I thought, oh, we got to get these here. I mean, look at how beautiful they just shine, especially like earlier on when this was in the sun, because we're in the afternoon now, so they're shaded, which is perfect for this, by the way. I mean, it just lit up this area, and I think in the wintertime it's just going to be gorgeous. These typically in our area will grow anywhere between 10 and 15 feet tall, but they grow fairly slowly. You can keep them pruned, and we kind of use them more as an accent plant, an ornamental plant, not as a structural tree. And then the width can be anywhere from 4 to 10 feet, depending on how you want to prune them. They are a zone 6 through 9, and in dry climates, they do prefer to have consistent moisture, which they do have a drip line running through here. So they're going to be running the drip, which is even better. Like this whole thing, you guys, I mean, I've talked about garden design and how it's not really my passion to design garden spaces, and we have so many projects going on, I don't really have time to do it. So working off of a plan that's already done and having kind of the legwork done, this is just such a pleasure to come in with plants and tweak the plans where needed, because that always happens when you actually start planting, because you know, you start setting things around and you think, oh, I need to shift things a little bit further. The berms were a little bit of an afterthought, so things are shifting because of that. And there's always that in every single plan, but it's such a pleasure to come in and just plant the fun stuff. So anyway, I think this is going to be perfect. Japanese maples in our area tend to want a little bit more shade in the afternoon, otherwise they burn. But the leaves, when they come out, they're a pink color, and then they turn to kind of chartreuse green, and then they deepen in color to a deeper green, and then the fall color is bright yellow and orange mix. Beautiful. So we've got one on either side. Now I've got incredible hydrangeas right in front. And in the original plan, there was the 3 over here. I think we should add at least, I don't know, maybe even 3 over on that side. I think they're going to be so beautiful here. They grow 4 to 5 feet tall and wide, and they get the massive white blooms. We have a hedge of these at our house, and they do well. We don't live that far from here, so I know that these are going to do really nicely here. The nice thing about this type is they bloom on new wood. So if we happen to have a really hard winter, which they're a zone 3 through 8, so they're really winter hardy. But if something were to happen and, you know, we had a cold snap or whatever, they will still produce blooms on the new wood that they produce that season. So like during the current season. But I think these are going to be really beautiful, especially I love the way the berm has made these look. It just brings some extra dimension to this area. And we're going to be filling in with hostas and heucheras. I'm thinking some kind of maybe a beautiful layered look, like a viburnum right in here would be wonderful. So that'll be in later days. Right here, now this is something that I tweaked in the plan. There were just boxwoods in this corner. And I felt like because we weren't dealing with any windows right here, like why not put a beautiful, another Japanese maple. This is an Acer palmatum as well, called Twombly's Red Sentinel. Now I have showed you guys, to those of you who have seen tours at my parents' house, they have a Twombly's Red Sentinel right in their entryway. Gorgeous. In our area, about 6 feet wide, maybe 8 feet in the end. I think it'll fill in this corner beautifully, and maybe about 10 feet tall. So zone 5 through 8 on this one, but deep red leaves. They come out kind of a bright red, they deepen, and then they get brighter again in the fall, and then they get this gorgeous burgundy bark. So that will contrast the siding really well too. And then we've got the sprinter boxwoods, which I use all the time. We have a ton of sprinters at our house. They grow about 2 to 4 feet tall and wide. I'm spacing everything to where pruning is not going to be an issue. They can just let things go if they want to. If they want to come in and shape them up, they can, but we're not going really for a hedge per se. It's just going to be like nice round evergreen interest in here. And then right around the corner, okay, so right here, there were boxwoods that were supposed to go boop and then just turn the corner and keep on going. I think that this is a really good opportunity for some kind of a shrub, maybe a type of viburnum in here, maybe a snowball bush would be really pretty, or a lilac, something with a little bit more height in stature. So that's why I left this spot empty here. But then we have the boxwood. Again, it won't probably be a hedge in the end. I spaced them far enough apart. They'll just be a nice loose evergreen accent back here. This side of the house is not really going to be a focal ever. So we'll keep the plantings fairly spread apart, low maintenance, minimal over here. So I think this will be a really nice look. Okay, now we got to go around to the other side of the house. Okay, so in this area around the dog kennel, we have the fine line buckthorns. So when we spaced these, you guys, because this is temporary, you know, we left this opening so that the gate could swing open. But in the end, like, this is all a flower bed. This is actually not a walkway. So we thought we would put maybe something nice right here, maybe like a medium-sized shrub that flowers. And then of course the things in front, but I left exactly enough space to put 2 more fine lines right in here and maintain the same spacing for everything. So we spent quite a lot of time kind of marking it all off, making sure it all lined up so that in the end it would make sense for what this space is going to be. I think we're gonna need 7, maybe 8 more of these to finish up this row. So we will repeat whatever goes in front here will be repeated here, and then it'll stop about here-ish, and then this spot will just be the fine lines. It'll just be a really nice tidy look right over here. So they grow 2 feet wide, maybe a little bit more, but the cool thing about these are the fine line improved. So there is a regular fine line. This one is an improved version. They leaf from bottom all the way to the top. So they get 5 to 7 feet tall. And if you've got a really narrow area, like kind of a tough spot, these are a really good thing to use. I mean, just as a vertical accent, as a hedge, kind of like we're doing right here. But you'll have leaves and you'll have coverage from top to bottom. So you won't have like that real shrubby look at the bottom, which I really like. And they've got kind of a real ferny, unique appearance to them. In fact, at my parents' house in the butterfly garden that we just planted, my mom planted 5 of these. The fine line improved in that bed as well. The fall color on buckthorns, I don't even think I can describe it. It's so beautiful. It's like a neon yellow. It's really very striking. And these newer versions of buckthorns, they don't set, this doesn't set a whole bunch of seeds and seed all over the place. And the seeds that it does set, they have a low rate of germination. So it's not usually an issue at all for having these spread anywhere. And these are a zone 2 through 7. So I feel really comfortable putting them right here, being as exposed as they are. I mean, in the end, if you think about it, the whole back area, that whole back corner, everything is going to be fairly covered and shrouded. But even then, you know, there's a lot of space between that and this area here, and we get a lot of fierce wind, and it comes from the southwest, which is this corner here. So I feel very comfortable putting a zone 2 through 7 in here because I feel like they're going to go through the winters just fine, not have any issue at all. They like the full sun. They're really quite a tough plant, easy to grow. And then in this corner, this is the last thing, are the pink chiffon Rosa Sharons. Now, when I was auging this hole, I know auging is not a verb, right? But I'm gonna say it's a verb. Okay, so I nicked, looks like a swing pipe. There's a little black pipe in here, if you take a look. It's tough planting in somebody else's garden because I don't know where anything is. But there's a sprinkler right there. I didn't cut all the way through it, but we decided that since we'll be back, we're just going to take this home so we can keep it watered. When we come back, we'll bring a coupler and just get that all spliced and fixed, so that peace of mind. I won't plant the plant right on top of it either. I'll scoot it over. But anyway, that's what happened there, which, you know, I'm surprised we didn't run into anything else in this garden. I think these are going to be great in this spot. I can feel the heat right now. I think they're going to be a big enough shrub in the end. They're really going to help kind of bring the temperature down. They'll absorb some of that and kind of block the, woo, there's a hole there. They're going to block this wall so that it's not producing quite as much heat. And Rosa Sharons just do really well in our area, and they grow quickly. They bloom on new wood. So typically you don't need to prune them. You can like late winter, early spring, but typically on something like this, especially in this kind of area, this is a perfect example of placing things in an area where you can just let them get to their full size and enjoy them and not have to fuss with them too much. They also attract butterflies and hummingbirds, so that's kind of a fun deal. And a zone 5 through 9 on these. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys the plan. Now, this is a printed out version that I've been using a lot, but you can kind of see what's going on here. This is the front of the house right here, the garage right here. So we're standing right in front here, but you can see the key for all the plants is here. But yeah, very full flower beds in the end. And we're just tweaking things in minor ways as we go along. And then you have to imagine too that the outer, there's actually a second plan that looks much like this one for the outer fence line. This is the key for it right here. See, I was making notes to see how many of each one of these things we were going to need. And this is going to be a multi-year project. We're not going to get it all done this year, just one based on time, availability of plants and all those sorts of things. It'll be a fun thing to watch unfold, and we'll bring you along for as much of it as we can. We plan to do a lot of it. So anyway, we'll be back here probably fairly soon with phase 2 of shrubs. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think, you know, we see a lot of questions about blank slates and where do we start and what's the process. And so I'm hoping that this type of video, this series, will help you guys see how things kind of come together in this space. You know, any space can be adaptable to different areas, different sizes, different budgets, you know, and everybody goes at a different pace. So you just kind of scale it based on what your situation is. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.